So now this is the third method of representing a solid mathematically. So this is boundary representation. So which is very similar to what I have described earlier. I have described that we can define a solid by the surrounding surface patches it is captured by. So we can define the surface patches like a cube. So it will have some 6 faces, and we can give equations of faces, and then it will understand that whatever is captured inside those faces is the solid. So for understanding boundary representation, which is same as BREP, we need to understand some terminologies which are Euler's law or Euler's formula, Euler's characteristic, then which requires vertices, edges, face, cell, genus, and a ring or a loop, which is same as a loop. So we'll understand that. Then we need to clearly understand that what is a solid. So what are the interior points, what are the exterior points, and what are the boundary points, and how can we define them mathematically. Then we need to understand the topology or topological transformation. What is homeomorphism, or what is a solid being homeomorphic to another solid. So what is homeomorphic? Then we need to understand manifold. So what are manifold surfaces? These are required to understand what are solids. So how can we use BREP, boundary representation technique, for solid representation mathematically. So starting with the manifold surfaces. So there were so many kind of surfaces which were possible, right? So there could be any type of surface, but the surfaces which can make a valid solid out of it, those set of surfaces are called as manifold surfaces. That is a simple definition of a manifold. So if we have a surface which is having a self-intersecting point somewhere, then it cannot define a solid, a valid solid. Or if we have a non-orientable surface like Klein's bottle or Mobius strip, then we cannot make a solid out of it. So Mobius strip cannot be a boundary surface of a solid. So excluding those non-usable surfaces, the set which can represent a solid surface, which can represent a valid solid surface, are called as manifold surfaces, or we technically a second order manifold. Then we come to homeomorphism or topology. So homeomorphic means, like you would have known or done meshing in FEM. So generation of mesh is very much similar, or those concepts are required here. So homeomorphism means, let's first understand interior exterior boundary point. So mathematically, for an interior point, any point we take which is an interior, we can make a small epsilon neighborhood which is represented by this mathematically. So this point would have the coordinates A, B, C, and when we make an epsilon neighborhood around it, a spherical neighborhood, if all the points in the epsilon neighborhood are belonging to a set S which represents the solid, then that point ABC is an interior point. And let's define S also. So the set S is simply a set of all the points which are the interior points and the boundary points of the solid. And similarly, an exterior point would be that if ABC is the exterior point, then the epsilon neighborhood of that point and all the points which are in the epsilon neighborhood must not be in the set S, then that's the exterior point. ABC is the exterior point. And if a point is not an interior and not an exterior, then it's a boundary point. So an interior point and an exterior points are very much similar to open disk, and a boundary point is very much similar to half disk. And homeomorphism means we are doing some distortion of a shape, so there can be any change in the shape of the solid. Let this be 2D solids, we can change the size, we can change the angles, we can change any kind of information which is related to the geometry, but we cannot change the information related to the the neighborhood of the points of the solid. So let's say we have some solid 1, this is solid 2. So A is an interior point, we can make any kind of changes, and still in solid 2 the point A is the interior point. Similarly, point B is a boundary point for solid 1. We can make any kind of, we have made any kind of changes to first solid and get second solid. Still the point B is the boundary point. Similarly, C was an exterior point. We made changes to our solid and C is still a exterior point. Then this kind of change is called a topological transformation, and we can say first solid and second solid are homeomorphic to each other. Right? This is a very simple definition for homeomorphism. And for more complex things, like we can make tessellations which are same as meshing. So we have made for a sphere or for a circle, we have made mesh, we have made tessellations. So we cannot change the boundary information. So this is a boundary edge, so it should remain a boundary edge. This is a boundary edge, it should remain a boundary edge. This is an interior edge, it should remain an interior edge. This is an interior point, this should remain an interior point. So this changes. So we have made a circle and we have made a square out of a circle. So still we have made changes related to the shape, we have made changes related to the size. So there can be any kind of changes in the size of the length, size of the edge, volume, anything. Angles, so the angles are also not preserved. So this angle is something else, this angle is something else. We have made changes in the angles, but the boundary information has not changed. Then it is called as homeomorphic transformation. In 1D also we can understand AB is a line. We have curved it, we have stretched it, all are homeomorphic to each other. But we cannot cut the line. So this point had two boundary points. Now it has only one boundary point around it. So we have changed the boundary information. Over here also, here a point on a line had two boundary points around it. Here the same point on the line has four boundary points around it. So we have changed the neighborhood information. So this kind of change is not a homeomorphic change, and these two solids are not homeomorphic. So for homeomorphic changes, cutting and gluing is not allowed. This is the very simple common language to understand. So we have defined homeomorphic or homeomorphic transformations, topological transformations, manifold surfaces. Now coming to Euler's formula. So when we have some irregular bodies, then we cannot easily define edges and faces and vertices. So for a sphere we cannot define, or for a circle we cannot define. So we make tessellations on it, that is meshing, and then we can easily define the vertices on it. So V, E and F are the number of vertices, edges and faces. And now we are going to keep the geometry aside. So over here also we have put the geometry aside, and we are just concerned about the connectivity information. That is very important over here. So topology also means the connectivity information. So here all the connectivity information is maintained in a topological transformation. The size is, geometry is not in our concern. So let's see some examples where these topological transformations are not occurring. So when we have one boundary which is a square, and then we cannot make a hole in a square. So we have generated some new boundary. So this is not a topological transformation. Similarly, when we have a double torus and a triple torus, but then these are topological transformations. So we have a hole in a square, we have a hole in a disc, and then we can pull out this outside boundary to make something like a frustum and then a cylinder. So each of these homeomorphic solids have two boundary components, inside one, outside loop, inside loop, outside loop. Here this loop and the top loop, the bottom loop and the top loop. So all are homeomorphic to each other. Then let's count the number of boundary components. So how can we count the number of boundary components? So let's see this. So when we define curve, the boundary components are the end points and the start points. So vertices are the boundary components. For surfaces, curves are the boundary components, curves or edges. And for solids, surfaces are the boundary components. So for a 3D solid, we need to count boundary components as the surfaces. For 2D solid, that are surfaces, we need to count the curves as the boundary component. So if these are 2D solids, then the boundary components would be 2. So all the surfaces, if this is a surface, so cylinder is a surface, sphere is a surface, but a ball is a solid. So a solid sphere is called a ball. You should be clear with this. So when we use cylinder, so this one edge, this curve and these two curves are the boundary components. For a sphere, there is only one boundary component, that is the outside sphere. So for a ball, there is okay. So for Euler's formula, we need to understand this thing. So this is the Euler's formula, Euler's law. It can be also written as V minus E plus F minus 2S plus 2G is equal to 0. So for any kind of solid, this must be true. So V, E and F, this represents number of vertices, number of edge, number of faces, number of cells. S means number of cells, G means genus number. So for a simple version, the cell is number of boundary components, and genus means the number of holes. So genus number comes from which are the through holes. So we have a solid, let's say we have a disc, and we make a hole in it. So now we have a through hole in it, and so this will give one generation of a genus number. Genus number will increase from 0 to 1. And for this is a surface hole. So we have a circle, and then we make a change like this. So when we make a surface hole, then it increases the boundary component. So we need tessellations because we cannot easily count the boundary components, vertices, edges, faces for a curved body. So we do tessellations on it, and then whatever smaller triangles we have got, that will lead to there we can verify this formula. So for any kind of solid, this formula must be true. And then we have rings also. So there can be a small modification to this formula, which will be like this: V minus E plus F is equal to R plus 2S minus G. So this R means rings, which are equivalent to inner loops. Inner loops. So if we have a solid like this is a simple cube, and we have placed a smaller cube on it. Okay, so we would count this top face as only one. So the top face would be like this, and this will be only counted as only one face, but then it has two boundary components. So this inner loop is an extra thing. So we will count this inner loop as a ring. These are examples. So these are all homeomorphic transformation. This is not an homeomorphic transformation, that's all. This is an homeomorphic transformation. So we have changed all the angles, all the lengths, size, shape, everything, but this is an homeomorphic transformation or a topological transformation. That's simple. That's same. We can stretch in any direction, any way. Both are the same thing. And then we will see next time how can we how are we going to use this information to get more a proper mathematical representation of a solid.